Okay, hi, I'm Daz. I'm the producer of The Drift, and this is just an update on the story, or rather not so much the story itself, because I don't want to tell you what happens, but in terms of where we are with the production of it. And we've just had another sort of plot meeting. It took about sort of 3 hours, but that's the second one of two sort of meetings, and before that I've been sort of racking ideas in my head, trying to work out what's going to happen and how we make it interesting and stuff. And we've come to a point now where we've got quite a solid plot, which is really good. And what I was going to show you is basically sort of how we did that. So apart from sort of writing down all the bits and bobs, then sort of divided it into separate acts like you do in a normal story, act 1, 2 and 3. But basically for each one I wrote down what I wanted to happen in that act. So I'm not going to say all the things, but certain changing, turning points and stuff that needs to sort of take place in Act 1, then obviously other stuff in Act 2, and then into Act 3. You know what happens at the end, the final bit. So having those sort of like these things have to happen at these times, and how does each sort of chapter finish? That's sort of the first thing. And then I started sort of brainstorming this with Sue, who has been helping me with the story, and that was last week. So it's sort of coming together. Started writing out like a sort of basic sort of story. This happens and this happens and this happens. Then we sort of looked at write questions down. Well, why does that happen, and what's the connection here, and that kind of stuff. Oh, the other thing we did as well before we got to this week, we wrote backstories about the cast. That all sounds like a bit, Hollywood might do it, but why do we do it? Well, it's good to do it because when you know where your characters are coming from, then you know how they're going to react and how they behave. So you might pick a particular character with a certain trait or a certain history, that he might be scared of the dark or something. Then clearly when he does stuff that's in the dark, he's going to be scared. That kind of stuff. So he did that as well, put it together. And then what we did today, which really helped, was I drew some maps. Proper map. So this for example, is a map of a very simplified version of the drift. I'm not going to explain what it all is because that would give too much away, but basically I've got all the characters on little post-it notes, and then as we were going through the story we sort of put them in the positions of where they would be. So okay, so now they're here, so how does that affect other things? And as we started going through the story, sort of realised, well, we haven't been over here very much, and these characters have been sat here for ages. All right, what are we going to do with them? And then we could physically see what was going on. And then the other thing that was really good about it is when we went through it once, and it took a while to go through it the first time, when we went through it again the second time, just by where all the characters were, it was very easy to sort of literally visualise what's going on and why. And it was like a memory jogger, just by the post-it notes being in these places. I've just put them to one side now, but it was very good to sort of see how it all came together and what was being missed out, such that I could. We did it once, then I went and had a cup of tea or whatever, and then Sue went home, and then another cup of tea, and then I came back to it, set it all up at the beginning of the story, and was able to run through the entire story without referring to the plot at all, referring to the documentation purely by looking at the map. And the other thing that was also helpful is this map up here, which is the shape of one of the Drift spaceships. It's relatively simple at the moment. We've got like engineering area, cargo area, crew quarters, standard stuff on a spaceship. We're not giving anything away here, but simply again by visualising it and looking at where things are, you can think about, okay, not just about what happens in the plot, but also what happens in terms of where they go and how the scenery changes. And okay, well, they start off at this part of the ship and now they're going to go here. And that sketch, was probably 3 or 4 sketches over a period of about 20 minutes, just developing it into something simple. And the final design may be different again, but the point being is that it's giving me direction in terms of where I want things to go. And the really great thing, of course, having it done now, is that we've got a big set building weekend coming up too, and it means I know not exactly what I need to build, but I know that where my focus is and what needs to be done, and certainly what doesn't need to be built, and also in terms of cost as well, because we are spending a lot of money at the moment, and as we would at this stage in the production, because you have to build all the structure of the sets before you can decorate them. Decorating them is generally cheaper for us because that's when we use all the plastics, but to build the stuff out of wood you have to build with the wood, and that's expensive. So to know now where things are going will help me work out, and I've already worked out ways of using sets twice, making them bigger, slightly amending them to save money. So actually I'm now able to be a little bit more clever about how I use my sets. That's all come from this map and this sort of plot map here as well, sort of where the character's going. So I just thought I'd share that with you. You know, that's another good way of perhaps, certainly way I found of getting the story sorted, and certainly looking at some of the older sort of drift casts and drift diaries that I've been doing, that I've been quite worried about the story. You know, we really have hit a turning point now, and you know, I'm not saying it's Oscar-winning stuff. You know, I know who we are. We're Backyard Productions, but in terms of what we've done in the past, certainly a step forward. Will it be super brilliant? No idea. It's quite exciting to see, but certainly we've got a story, and that's good. So happy days.